everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Lucid's 2022 Tournament Game 4, where we are playing Nazca. This is turn 79. Very, very close to our go point. Let's jump into things and see how they're going, shall we? Not a lot to report as far as weird summoning-oriented things or remotes, right? We've got some attacks to watch. Vanheim attacking Arco in the Lost Canyon range and in Wina. The Lost Canyon range first. We have Vanheim with a little thug. Interesting fire in a jar. Wonder what's up with that. Probably just snag that off of someone, maybe. And up against a little bit of stuff. We've got a Hoplite with an Enchantress and some PD. What is that Enchantress going to do? That's kind of the question. We got Moss Body. Phantasmal Warriors. That's not going to do it. I don't think these Hoplites are going to do it either. Blindness? Interesting. I think that's going to matter too much. Alright. Arco broken. And yep, Enchantress looks like she gets off the field. Vanheim attacks in Wina. Okay, so this is a little bit more of a commitment. We've got a little stack of Einhairs. We've got a little stack of Vans. It looks like a Van Jarl mixed in there. We have an Illusionist out here, probably some Air Elemental casting. We've got a White Mage, probably some Earth Elemental casting. Simple stuff. We've got two Adepts of Puriphlegaton. Fire in a jar on both of them. And then we've got a Shaman back here, kitted up with a Starshine Skullcap and a Crystal Coin. Ooh, okay. And there's actual stuff on Arco's side. So Flame Spirit, little mixture of Hoplites and Heart Companions, a little bit of PD. We've got some Mystics sparsed around. We've got Peltists in the back as Flight Catchers. We've got some Shamans, more Mystics. We've got a couple of Enchantresses. Okay. You can already see immediately we've got some Phoenix Power, some Summon Air Elementals, some Earth Power, Power the Spheres, etc., etc. See what this does. Got Blessing going on over here. A little bit of Wooden Warriors. We've got some Enslave happening. Air Elemental in the backfield. Okay. The Adepts of Puriphlegaton. One of them has tossed out Firestorm. That's gonna matter unless Arco is prepared for it. They do have fire resistance on them. Ooh, not on all of them. They have fire resistance on some of their commanders, but not on their units. Oof. Pillar of Fire as well. Van's coming in. Van Jarl's in the backfield. Got Mind Burns coming out across the board. But I think the Vanheim side has anti-magic up, so Mind Burns are going to be difficult to actually matter, right? The Firestorm isn't doing as much as it potentially could, but it has routed the PD, has gotten rid of just about everything. Okay. That is a win for Vanheim. What did it cost, if anything? Okay, so it was not a free win. It cost 2 Shamans, 2 Van Jarls, 5 Einhairs, which is kind of whatever, 4 Vans, which is less whatever, right? So not bloodless. The Vans did a lot of work. Obviously, that Firestorm did a lot of work. The Van Jarls did some work. That's pretty good. What does Arco lose for this? 3 Astrologers, that matters. And Enchantress, that matters. 4 Mystics. Yeah, that's not great. 16 heart companions, less of an issue, but still an issue. Hoplites, peltists, etc., etc. So yeah, definitely more of a loss on Arco's side. Good victory for Van, but not bloodless. Did losing these shamans and Vanyarls is not oh, we're happy about that, obviously, right? But I think we would probably be happy with this kind of win overall. This is one of those kinds of wins where it's like, yeah, we lost a bit too, but overall if we do this every single time, we will win eventually, right? Like we will out trade. So pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Cool. All right, that is all we have to report as far as battles go. Not as many uncovered at this particular time. Got a bunch of events this turn, so let's pop through them. On a mule, we still have the whole Cthulhu event scenario going. So that's cool. Small island has been located. A basalt statue of hideous visage was found in a cove with signs of ritual worship nearby. Someone may be able to observe the activities secretly. You could also send priests to bring the lost flock into the fold, or armed men to deal with this heresy by force. So we get a magic site, which we'll go ahead and take a look at real quick. It's actually the statue of hideous visage. Which is a small thaumaturgy bonus, which is kind of cool, but not super relevant to us, I think. Pretty neat. In Underhome, we have a rebirth event, so we get a little bit of population and province income. In Mark, we get a handful of magic gems under a huge rock, so a handful... This game's definition of a handful. Like, sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 11. 11 earth gems. Very nice. A peddler was peddling his wares in Baral, and we purchased them for 1 gold. We got some earth gems, death gems, and nature gems. Very cool. In Underhome, the Men of War have begun breeding, so we get a magic site in Underhome. This is actually really cool. This is a +2 water site, bringing our water income up to 13. Very neat. And then in Centennia, a hidden laboratory has been found and claimed in our name. So we get a lab, astral, death, nature, and blood, and then we get a crystal heart. So, bunch of pretty cool stuff. There's also an arena battle upcoming. Bunch of cool stuff for this turn. Events, 0, negative, and 6 positive. For Underhome, population increased +300, and income increased by 1. We lost 1 gold, but we gained 13 earth gems, 2 astral pearls, 4 death gems, 5 nature gems, 1 blood slave. We got 2 magic sites. We got the statue of the hideous visage, and then we got water gems +2 per turn. We gained 1 lab, and we got a crystal heart. And a crystal heart, if you're unaware, is pretty fucking dope. It's basically like the communion matrix, which is makes you automatically a communion master, but it also gives you an extra life, and it's cursed. So pretty cool item. Pretty excited about that. Let's take a look on over here. Anything else? No, I don't think so. Sorry. Was looking at my notes. Oh, fuck. I don't have this. Here, let me notate this. Bad. I always forget the event battles when I'm going through things because I'm like, yeah, whatever. Some indies attacked us. Let me double check this. We have battles versus indies. 1 loss, or 0 wins, 1 loss. We'll go ahead and watch this, but it is just the sad display of Haten Runa, and how incredibly not great they are, but also just their morale is such utter shit that even going up against dagger-wielding heretics, just priests, walking around in robes, Hatenruna still fail. And part of why they fail, by the way, combat speed 9 versus combat speed 10. So when they land, it's actually these priests that attack first, and they just delete squares of Hatenruna before the Hatenruna actually do much of anything. And then the Hatenruna, their morale is so bad versus the heretics that the Hatenruna actually run from them. Very, very silly. Very, very silly. So, we lose the fortress. We lose the province of Mushwood. It is a little annoying, but not too big of a deal. A little all over the place right now. Okay, so what are we doing this turn? We're starting to starve in Golm. Whatever. It's Hatenruna starving, so I don't really care. And it should be fixed this turn. It's heating up, right? So it's turn 79. We've got a lot of movement going around. We are moving Supayas around. We are moving Incas around with various forces, right? We're moving quite a few Supayas around, but we're also moving Condors and Huacas, getting in range of both Illadar and Ermithia. Those, I think, are going to be... We're going to hit basically the entire line as much as we can, right? But our two concentrated focuses for land battles are going to be Illadar and Ermithia. And maybe Blackport. I'm still not sure about that, but maybe Blackport. And the goal there being is we want to make sure that we can secure the land as quickly as possible so that the fights are happening underwater whenever possible, because we want to put Pelagia on the defensive. We don't want them to come at us, right? So, we got a lot of movement around in regards to that. A little bit of movement where we're moving Hatenrunas out to continue to patrol in specific areas, moving people up from, right, like moving more Supayas and Huacas up into Olifa, moving people up into Dutrandine. It's just that's the logistics of war, right? In point of fact, we are actually not going to have that many people left in Satrandith, so we're moving the majority of our military might onto our eastern coastal border with Pelagia. This is going to take 2 turns. We're kind of estimating everything now at turn 81 because of we're not going to be hitting alteration 9 until next turn. So we want to be able to script everything before we actually go. So we've got that all kind of hanging out. We're also moving around Barathras and other individuals so that we can be prepared to hit Illadar and Ermithia with kind of like the same concerted strength. So, that is the plan. We haven't really talked about the world at large in a while, but I think there's not really a lot to talk about compared to what it had been previously, right? We can see Vanheim has made a little bit of inroads raiding into Arco's Folly, but Arco is doing well responding. I think we kind of called the concept many turns ago, right? If it was just Arco versus Van, it'd be one thing. But because Arco is fighting against Ulm at the same time, right? They've got this Ulmish front that they're trying to power Ulm out of, right? It feels like Arco is trying to do so much damage to Ulm that they push Ulm out of the war. And if they're successful in doing that, then they might actually be able to square off against Vanheim. But I think the ultimate concept is that if they've got to fight against Ulm and Vanheim in perpetuity, right, then they'll eventually lose, right? But that might not be the case. Arco's got a lot of tricks. The player is really, really good, so It's entirely possible that they bleed Vanheim down to the point to where they start taking terrain back. The hope, regardless, right, of course, again, is that this is going to take another 10, 15 turns to see where this swings, and that by that time we will have Pelagia mostly conquered, or at least very much on the back foot, so that we can throw weight around and see how it goes. But I have no idea if that's actually going to work. So fingers crossed. We'll see. We'll see what we see. Let's talk about actual mechanics for the turn. We are doing a wee bit of recruitment. The recruitment for the turn: 1 Koya, 1 Runanka, and 5 Sun Guard. Nothing crazy here. The Koya is the same reason that we talked about in the past. They're some of our best both battle and utility mages. I would like more of them. I'm potentially going to Twiceborn and kill some people, and this actually brings us to the Runanka. The reason we're getting a Runanka is over here in Amul. We're gonna send him into Underhome with a Ring of Water Breathing, and we're going to send a Twiceborn Koya in there with a Ring of Water Breathing, and we're gonna drown her. Right? So we're gonna potentially mess around with that concept for a little while, and that might be the new thing that we do. We might just recruit Koyas every other turn, Twiceborn, drown. Koya, Twiceborn, drown. Koya, Twiceborn, drown. Right? Until we have this little army of undead wights, right, that we can utilize for a lot of different things. It's a effective concept, but I don't know what our timeline on it's going to be or what we're specifically going to do with a lot of it. But we'll see. Yeah, I wish we had kind of thought about doing it. I say I wish, but we've been using our death gems for a whole lot of different things, so this might not have worked out. One interesting thing, I will say this about Koyas, right? They are size 3, but their Twiceborn actually only counts as a size 2, right? Because it doesn't count the wings in the chassis for the Twiceborn, so that's pretty cool. I'm 99% sure about that, right? Like 24, research, yeah, 34. So, absolutely, Twiceborn. Only counts as a size 2 chassis, which is really fun. What else do we got going on? We've got some Nazcan recruits. So, for the turn, Nazcan recruits. We only have 26 Haten Runa, this turn because, one, it's basically burned down. There's very little else, going on there, right? So that's a little unfortunate. We're moving some people out. We probably should have already moved to Pavonia, but it is what it is. We have 194 long dead warriors. We're so close to that 200 mark. So close. We're down to 10 recalled Supayas because we're moving around Royal Malquis so that we can actually utilize them in combat. And then we've got 2 summoned Supayas for 14 more Supayas and 1 summoned Huaka for 7. So pretty decent numbers there. A little dip because of moving things around, but also, you know, we're almost at that 200 mark, which is really exciting for the long dead. So we've got that. Continued special recruits. We're continuing to do 1 Direwolf and 1 Dustwalker every turn. We're getting another Air Elemental this turn, another Sylph this turn, and another 3 Earth Gnomes this turn. We're not getting Sprites or our Earth Elemental because we have people maneuvering around. We can actually talk about that a little bit. So, we are sending forces into Mushwood to try to take this back. We're sending more Haten Runa. This might not work, but we had a fair number of them die in this fight, 25, right? So it's likely that they will rout this time, but maybe not. So we'll see. At the same time, I don't have other forces to send immediately into that scenario. I'm not teleporting someone in there. I could, right? But it seems like a bad idea. So we're just going to throw some Haten Runa at it, see how it goes. If it goes well, it goes well. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Yeah, see how that goes. We're also moving... I highlighted this. We're moving Barathos around. We're doing some forging with the Fairy Queens. That's why we don't have more people in our special recruit section. So yeah. Rituals for the turn. We are doing 1 Summon Mound Fiend and 1 Twiceborn. You already saw the Twiceborn, and we've already kind of talked a little bit about why we're doing that. Why are we doing a Mound Fiend? What's going on there? So, if you are not aware, Mound Fiends are over here. They're level 7 Conjuration, summons and binds a Mound Fiend. The Mound Fiend is a powerful death mage in its own right. Mound Fiends come as Death 3, right? Death 3 means that we can very easily do stuff like Lichcraft with a Skull Staff and a Skull Face, right? So we can put that on our Mound Fiend, and he can start casting Liches for us. Or, if we wanted to, we could have him call Wraith Lords, right? There's a weird situation between like Liches and Wraith Lords. Liches cost 30, and they are better casters. Wraith Lords are better like thugs out of the gate. They cost 40 though. We have a discount on them, so we could get them down to quite a, I think like 28, right? 40. Yeah, no, 26. 26? That's incorrect. 24. We could get them down to 24. So probably it's more worthwhile for us to summon Wraith Lords, but it really depends on what we're wanting to do with them, right? Liches are native Death 4s. So if we want to do like Manifestation casting, or even later, right? If we want to do, because Manifestation is Death 5. If we want to do Ghost Riders, which is Death 6, far easier to do that with Liches than it is with something like Wraith Lords. Regardless, a Mound Fiend is a way for us to get there a little easier, because right now we only have Manco Aklo, who is a Death 4 individual and can only get to Death 5 by having a Skull Face on, which is a little rough. Or we have our Frostfather, right, who also is just Death 3 and needs 2 items to get up to Death 5. So, and those two are relatively valuable. Even if we're not doing anything else with Manco Aklo, just having Manco Aklo do 4 recalled Supayas every turn is pretty valuable, right? And our God is pretty valuable for doing a lot of other things. So I think we're just taking an opportunity to be like, let's summon a Mound Fiend so that we can use him for Liches or for Wraith Lords if we so choose. We might not go that route, though we probably will to some degree. So anyways, so yeah, that's why we're doing those particular rituals. Because of that, Ultimate Gateway saves this turn 6 Astral and 19 Death, because I think we save 11 gems on the Mound Fiend, which is pretty nice. So that's cool. And then we've got some forging this turn. A little bit of interesting forging, I think. Starting off, forging, we have 1 Earth Boots, 1 Water Bracelet, 1 Water Lens, 2 Horns of Valor over here. We have 2 Crowns of Command, 2 Robes of the Sea, and 1 Staff of Storms. So, let's talk about some of these. Earth Boots, Water Bracelet, Water Lens, Horns of Valor, those are all things that we've discussed before. Don't really need to talk about them except in very specific situations, which I don't think this is. We know what they're used for. They're fine. Crowns of Command are interesting. I don't think... No. We've used a Crown of Command before with Pachacuti, right? This is a Crown of Command. It is an inspirational item. It's not as inspiring as the Helmet of Heroes, which is an inspirational 2 item. It's also not as good head protection. However, it gives command 50, so you can lead 50 more units, and it gives magic command 25, which is very valuable because it means that an Inca, or whoever's wearing it, can lead more Huacas, right? So Inca are actually really good leaders. I say that. Let me check their base stats. So they come in, right, as good leaders. They have a +1, but they're not like the best leaders. They're not 120s, right? And they only have +1 inspiration, right? So we do want to have inspirational items on them so that they can lead better. We've already talked about this. That's what the Herald Lance is. That's what the Horde of Valor is, etc., etc. Crown of Command is an alternative to the Helmet of Heroes, which also allows them to lead a little bit more especially when it comes to the Huaka side of things, but also just in general, right? They only have 90 leadership, meaning they can only lead 90 condors or, Sun Guard or something like that, which isn't a crazy amount, right? So having a Crown of Command loses them 1 pip of inspiration, but gains them the ability to lead quite a few more units, which might be worth it depending on the right situation. So that's why we're doing some more Crowns of Command. Robes of the Sea. This is actually questionable. I wasn't sure that I wanted to do this, but we do have a little bit of water stored up, and while we have a whole lot, we have a fair amount of water 4s at this point. We don't have any water 5s, and water 5 is a thing that we would need for a number of different reasons. One being Queens of Elemental Earth or Elemental Water, if we are going underwater and getting those, right? And then there's a couple of other things. What is it? Murdering Winter, right, is going to be another really big thing. I say another really big thing. It's potentially another really big thing that we couldn't even cast if we wanted to unless we used our Ring of Wizardry right now. So that's something that's kind of on the table. And then Needful Flames is also something that's kind of on the table. There's something else that I think that we were looking at. Frostdome is another thing we might potentially use that for. Yeah. And then just having, like, more powerful water casters, right? So, like, as you are a more powerful water caster, you summon more water elementals with things like Living Water. You do things with less fatigue, etc., etc. So this is questionable on whether or not this is going to be worth it in the immediacy, but I just want a couple of Robes of the Sea on hand in case I feel like I need to soup up some of the... I haven't even talked about what the Robes of the Sea are. They're boosters. They're +1 water boosters. They also give water breathing and air breathing. They only cost 15 water gems, so they're not like a super big investment, but that's 30 water gems that I could be banking to turn into water elementals right now, right? So it's the question is that a good idea? I don't know, but I'm hoping that it's going to be good for us in the long run. So we're doing that. And then the Staff of Storms. This one is actually really interesting. And we might do another Staff of Storms as we get the air gems for it. Staff of Storms is this. It starts every battle with Storm. So I think it's a very useful item, especially for Nazca, because sometimes people will counterfly you, right? It's like, oh, you're flying? That's cool. We're also flying. Right? And that can really fuck up your battle plan as Nazca, right? So Staff of Storms allows you to have your cake and eat it too, right? Because we have multiple units that fly in storms, our Supaya, our Huakas, I believe, all of those, right? So Huaka's storm immunity, Supaya's storm immunity. Sun Guard are not storm immune, but our Condors are, I believe. Condors are not. Condor Warriors are. That's what it is. And then obviously, right, like we have a fair amount of air. So air elementals and things like that, all storm immune. Being able to make it to where the enemy can't fly, right? Doesn't have the option of doing just like mass flight and then fucking with you. Can be very, very useful. It's also just nice. It's a solid item to be like, yo, we could bring to bear a shit ton of Aklas, auto storm, do summon storm power. All of a sudden, all of those Aklas are air 2s. They can do a shit ton of lightning bolts or other things, but mostly lightning bolts. It's pretty good. So it is expensive as an investment. It's 40 air gems, but I do think we probably are going to want at least 2 of them, though we might not have 2 in time for our attacks on the main land battles for Pelagia. And that's pretty much it, honestly. Research-wise, we're going strong. We will hit Alteration 9 next turn. We're going to go up I really wasn't sure where we wanted to go from here, right? There's a couple things in evocation, a couple things in thaumaturgy, a couple things in blood that we all could use. We could even go higher up into enchantment 9 to try to get Gaia's blessing, which is still on the table for us. Demon cleansing still on the table for us, right? Just not something that I think we care about at this exact moment. Yeah. Anyways, whatever. So yeah, we're gonna go up Conjuration 9 primarily for things like Ghost Riders, because Ghost Riders, I think you actually can use Ghost Riders underwater, right? And we could just toss, again, it's Conjuration, so we can toss Ghost Riders at provinces for 3 gems, which is pretty easy if we're doing it from here. It does have a 4 province range, so that is somewhat difficult, but we could actually make, I've been thinking about this, we might do this shortly. We could make some arcane lenses, right, to increase our spell range. So yeah, anyways, that is what we got going on. We'll see you next time. Turn 80, not going to be the launch point, but very, very close. Very, very close. So yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.